What do you make of Unrivaled's kind of made for TV approach, both as a fan and as a player?
Yeah, I mean, this is the exposure we deserve. Being on TNT every night, obviously, that's something special. Being able to have access to watch our game, this is something that we've deserved for a long time. Obviously, Kai's been in the league, Lexi's been in the league, and this is something that we've deserved. Coming to Unrivaled, I knew what we were gonna. I knew what to expect. High standards from the top to bottom. I would stay here forever. Like everything I need is here, from massages to cold tubs to just being able to have resources from workouts to everything. So just being able to be here and value women, this it's just really important right now, especially with the growth of women's basketball.
Kyle, what about you?
You know what? I'm gonna just say shout out to Linda. That's the massage therapist. She's amazing. I'm telling you, y'all. It makes it really makes a difference when you get a massage and you don't have to tell her to adjust the pressure or what you need. I'm gonna just say shout out to her. But like she said, the resources. When you've been in places, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just the resources. I'm telling y'all, for the league to be first, like this is the first year of the league, and to have Sephora, to be able to be on TV,
Fenty.
to be able to have an esthetician on site.
Mhm.
The people who have children, they have resources. You can have your kids go to the nanny room. You can have your kids go to the kids room,
And
like
a dog.
nursery room, like whatever you need is here. And then we in Miami Beach. Take me to the
But no, we come in Chicago. We coming. Don't worry. We coming.
That is not what I was talking about.
It's okay.
A lot to unpack there. Shade.
Yes.
Shade with the Chicago sky, potentially.
We're gonna be getting to all of that. Callie, Finn, thank you for joining me today. Listen, it has been Unrivaled all week. Tuesday, those were media availabilities from Tuesday. There's some actually going on today as we're talking. I was participating in them earlier. Listen, we're gonna unpack that video we just watched. I started with that because I thought that was like the best moment from yesterday. Like I know that clip is also circulating, or parts of it, on social, but like that was one of the best pressers, I thought, from Rose, the basketball club, which is one of the 6 clubs of Unrivaled. And there was, like you said, there was just so much in that clip. But first I want to stop and give some flowers to Unrivaled, because this rollout, like I said, no notes. I was taking notes on that presser that we're going to get to, but there are no notes in terms of how they are rolling things out. First of all, shout out to that admin, or however many admins they got. Can't just be one, because girl, the social content has been coming nonstop, and it's been incredible. It's been incredible. And then the way that they're utilizing the players in Unrivaled to also use their own platforms to also promote, someone who we both know. I saw tweeted about it, and oh gosh, now I just went blank. But anyway, like just the fact that it's brilliant, how they're utilizing the players, and I cannot say enough about it. And when you see the way that all the fans are reacting and the engagement it's getting, like I said, flowers to them, because there's been a lot of like commentary around Unrivaled, but Fee, Stewie, and the players who are part of this inaugural group, and whoever is behind running whoever's behind running this inaugural like rollout, like flowers, no notes, tremendous job.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're saying is so on point. We just heard Ka and Angel Reese kind of talk about, that. Resources are a really important thing, but I think the rollout, like you said, is really important for the audience. So it's like they've taken care of both ends. They've taken care of the players, they've taken care of the fans. I mean, you see them, the players here just having a blast looking at the facilities. They're in the gym, all that stuff, just really like taking it in, and you can tell that they're enjoying every aspect of it. Everything's been thoughtful, from the team jerseys to all that. And like, even, you think about the rosters, the time that they put into building that. I mean, I've been thinking a lot about how this is something that, like, women's basketball is historically, like, we don't always have like the finances for a lot of media to cover. Like a lot of people who cover women's sports, they do it like in addition to or at their own expense. And so I think that Unrivaled was really cognizant of that, being like, okay, we know we're in Miami. We know like not every single women's sports journalist is going to be able to be here to cover this for us. So like we're going to handle the storytelling. Like look at Media Day, how intentional they were with that. And then you talked about like the social media admins, like that's their main way to convey what this league has going on. It's not like there's like daily coverage from like beat writers or something like that, or even like national outlets. Obviously that will come. They have like a star-studded broadcast team for when the games begin. But like right now, they're kind of like setting the foundation with social media. And like even you look at all the different clubs, I think the Laces might have like the most followers or something like that, but it's because they're doing stuff that a lot of people haven't seen. Like a lot of people think that Jackie Young just does not talk. She does. Right. And the Laces admin is showing that. Like she does talk. She just needs to be like comfortable to do it and stuff like that. And I think they're not being like, for example, we were talking about how there's media day today. There's no in-person media today. So like they're just there, they're talking to people via camera, then they get to go and like be with social media admins that they're at this point clearly comfortable with, you know? So I think that that's really smart and it's very intentional, kind of like we were talking about with the resources and everything else.
Yes, absolutely. You said a few things I want to touch on. One, apologies to our friend Zena Kata, whose name I forgot earlier, but that's who tweeted about the brilliant strategy that they had in the rollout, right? And when you said like what they're doing, because Napheesa said something really interesting earlier in today's media availability, but she's like, they make a lot of the money like off their content. Like, so I don't understand the whole structure, but I thought that was an interesting comment. I didn't ask the question and there wasn't time to follow up. So when I am going down for the opening weekend, I want to ask her about that because it seems like that's another reason why content is such like a big part of their strategy. But we saw in the videos, like when we were watching it, like the Sephora rooms, we've seen like the players like showing their bags, just the number of like partnerships. They just announced Samsung. We know Under Armour, we see that on their jerseys. And then the investors as well, right? Like they just recently announced Coco Gauff as an investor. And I love that. I love women investing in women. So this is like so cool. And you know, in her tweet, she's talking about her dad wanting her to have been a basketball player, but she thrived more in tennis. So this is this is in part her contribution. But I love this. And they have some other really big investors, Dawn Staley, Juju Watkins, among others, like Michael Phelps, Giannis, so many people, big names, athletes investing in this league. But I love the woman investing it. You have to imagine in the future, Juju Watkins will be a part of Unrivaled the same way that Paige Beckers and Flau'jae are. So again, like I said, just no notes. Like what they're doing right now is incredible. And now that brings me back to like the video we opened with, because I took some notes, Callie. And even though I watched that video and I was there several times, I took notes because there were some things that stood out to me. Angel Reese said it's the exposure we deserve. And in many of the availabilities, today Satu was talking about it, Alicia Gray as well yesterday, we heard a lot of like deserve language. And I agree with them. They deserve it. I would stay here forever is what Angel Reese said. I would stay here forever. And then you heard Collier Copper continue to go on and talk about the number of resources they have available. I thought of note when she talked about the resources for players with children, right? That's available. Unrivaled is doing their big one. And I think, unfortunately, there are some people who do want to see it fail, not you and me, right? I say that because there's always people in the comments like, no one cares about this and it's not going to be good without XYZ players and la, 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 right? And so, but I think they're going to be a good litmus test for something I've been advocating for or talking about, Callie. I think you as well, when we talk about the fact that like, and I think anyone, and any of the people who have been covering women's basketball, and so many who exceed me and who've been here much longer than me, but that the resources just were not poured in. So the fact, like Angel Reese started by talking about the TV deal, and right, like all the games are so accessible, right? We've always talked about these women that they do have compelling stories, right? They just weren't being told. There wasn't access to see the games and to watch them. So I think they're gonna be a good litmus test for what everyone has been saying. Like, you invest and you're gonna get the results.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, I will say, like, I think I've seen this put into context a lot with like collective bargaining agreement negotiations, which are like ongoing, I think, at this point.
Yep.
And I think that a lot of people have been saying like Unrivaled will give these players more leverage. And I think the only kind of like point I want to add to that is like, not that they didn't have it already. Like this WNBA season, if you even just put that in a bubble alone, like the growth was ridiculous, but it's been sustained growth. And then you had like exponential growth this season. That helps definitely give leverage. But I do think that seeing like the tangible resources that you should be getting that maybe you're not, because I mean, the joke that Ka made about like some places or whatever she'd said, Chicago Sky, like last season you had players saying they didn't have warm water in the locker rooms or something. Like that's unacceptable. And obviously, like Angel Reese said, you know, we're coming, the sky's coming, like that's going to change. They've announced that they have facilities that are being built, and that's becoming kind of the norm, I would say. Like, you know, the Aces have multi-million-dollar state-of-the-art facility. Then, you know, the Mercury recently unveiled theirs. The Storm also has really impressive facilities. And so that's like it's all on the up and up. But I think maybe this like helps accelerate some of that when you're going into these negotiation rooms and you're trying to point to the things that you deserve, to kind of see that stuff put together so quickly with a league that's not the WNBA. I would say that only helps.
Yeah, you know, I think you make a good point about the players having leverage going into this, and we all knew they would, and that's why, you know, this year's going to be interesting, you know, players not doing deals beyond this year, or, you know, whatever the case may be. But I think some of the other things that Unrivaled will show, Napheesa talked about this today, and the fact that they want to highlight all the players equally. And shine a light on all of them and market them and tell their individual stories. And I don't know that the WNBA and its existing partners have always done the best job at that, right? And so, but we're seeing what that looks like right now unfolding with Unrivaled, and it's a beautiful thing. Like, I can't really say I feel like there's one player, like they're just pushing all the time, right? Like, you're collectively seeing all of the players. And I asked Breanna Stewart what success looks like, you know, as a founder of Unrivaled for her in the inaugural season. And she talked a lot about, well, not a lot, but she talked about just, you know, for the players, like, you know, how it would benefit them and like them feeling like they got what they needed out of it. And so, you know, I think, like I said, that's why I said I think it'll be a good litmus test, because if it's successful, which I think it will be, and obviously people will have different metrics and measures for success, you know, I think it's going to be interesting to see how it does impact CBA negotiations.